All right, so the big thing this week is we are looking at the budget. The state budget has been presented, and my biggest concern about it is that it seems to reflect the priorities of wealthy and well-connected folks instead of everyday Oklahomans. My big worry, you've got a $12.8 billion budget. That's a slight increase from last year, using a lot of cash to fill in holes. But the challenge is any of the increases I'm seeing tend to be pet projects or something that's a backroom deal. So I'm talking about things like $31 million being put towards prep projects. That's a new program that started about 4 years ago that's for district level economic development projects. But there's not a lot of public vetting. There's not a way that we know what's on that list. And so these are projects that some legislators come up with or heard from their community about, and they want to put money back into that. We were able to find $31 million for that, but meanwhile we have about $40 million that was cut out of mental health and substance use, and those stories should be listened to. Last summer we heard from people who had gotten sober and just totally remade their lives and were serving as peer support specialists. They help other people get sober and rebuild their lives and become contributing members of society. That's the kind of thing that was cut out of the mental health budget. So I'm worried that we're doing these wealthy and well-connected projects, but we're not listening to the stories of people working out in our communities. Another example, $200 million being set aside into the governor's savings fund. This money is now going to go to risky investments. The Invest in Oklahoma program allows direct investments in companies. So I'm wondering who's benefiting from this $200 million being set aside of taxpayer money when we have needs every day in our communities that needs to be taken care of. We've got child care cut $70 million since October. We have slots dropping. That means people aren't going to be able to work if they don't have a safe place for their kids to be. Why are we prioritizing setting aside $200 million rather than putting it towards putting people to work? This is the kind of trade-off we've made. Another thing is the DREAM accounts. They've set up $12.5 million to go to specifically to babies born during a certain timeline to be parallel to the Trump accounts nationally. No guidelines as far as income eligibility. So we're talking every single baby in the state born during a certain timeline will get $250. Meanwhile, we could use that same amount of money and give child tax credits to those who need it the most. I'm talking about working families who need that extra boost to get by. That would only cost $14 million. So when we look at the trade-offs being made, I'm just concerned that it appears like wealthy, well-connected folks are getting their way and daily Oklahomans are not being listened to. I'm talking about putting people over politics, trying to make sure we have guidelines and ways we make decisions that avoid the appearance of corruption. Are we letting businesses in the door to make those decisions for the state, or are we actually listening to our districts? And that's what I'm concerned about with this budget. We can look at it more, and I'll be interested in your questions.